Gaming laptops. Yeah, no, this thing sounds good, right? A portable computer? So convenient. Imagine being able to play your PC games everywhere. On school, on commute, while taking a But yes, you've read the title correctly, and I stand by it. There's literally no good reason to buy gaming laptops. And before you go ballistic in the comments to defend whatever opinion you got, I want you to hear me out. Or else. Yeah, even though the fans of these laptops are smaller than the ones in your PC desktop, believe me, this thing can really compete. Now that portability we talked about, it comes with a mandatory vacuum noise. The second you open anything more demanding than Minecraft, the fans kick in at 6,000 RPM. And no, it's not just annoying, it's literally the laptop screaming for help. It's desperately trying to push air through a cooling system that was never adequate to begin with, trying to keep your GPU from heating itself to death. The fans are maxed out constantly because with this small space, it could barely handle it. Oh, and talking about the loud fans, this is where it gets really annoying. You spend $2,000 on top tier specs, right? RTX 4070, the latest Intel or AMD chip, the fastest RAMs, the best SSDs, but guess what? After 10 minutes of gaming, the internals reach the melting point of magnesium. And to keep itself from literally catching fire, the laptop slows itself down. This is what you call thermal throttling, and it's killing your performance constantly. Your CPU and GPU are running at like 95 degrees Celsius, sometimes higher, and they physically cannot maintain their advertised speeds at those temperatures. So, the performance you saw in reviews where they tested a laptop for like 5 minutes, that's not what you're getting during an actual gaming session. You're getting maybe 70% of that because the thing is too hot to run at full speed. And this isn't something that's just easily fixed. You can't just install a better cooling solution. Okay, maybe you can, but you can't just open it up and add more fans. Some people try using laptop cooling pads, and sure, maybe that drops the temps by around 5 degrees, but that isn't really portable and you're still thermal throttling, so might as well use a PC at that point. You're still losing performance that you paid for, and over time, running your components at those temperatures constantly is degrading them faster. Your laptop is basically slowly cooking itself to death. All the main hype of getting a gaming laptop is about being able to play your favorite games everywhere. Yeah, for around 45 minutes. Maybe an hour and a half if you're playing some indie games or games all the way back in 2015. Gaming laptops are basically just mid-range desktops that is smaller and has a fucking timer on when it turns off. If you aren't plugged into a wall, your CPU throttles so hard you'll be playing the game with a cinematic experience. Not to mention, the battery drains faster than the stocks of DDR5 RAMs, costing less than $150 nowadays. So, the battery is just basically there to stop the laptop from immediately shutting off when you unplug it and move it somewhere with no outlet. And you're carrying around this weird-looking power brick everywhere, and the whole thing weighs like 8 pounds with a charger. And not to mention, you need both pieces to get the most of it.
Just got faded.
Now, let's talk about what happens in 3 years when newer games get released and your mobile GPU can barely handle it. What do? With a desktop PC, you could just swap and upgrade the GPU. It takes like 20 minutes, costs you maybe like $500 to $800 depending on what you're upgrading to, and boom, you're good for another few years. With a gaming laptop, you're The GPU and CPU is soldered to the motherboard. You can't upgrade shit. Maybe you can get more RAM if you're lucky and the manufacturer didn't solder that too. Maybe you can swap the SSD, but the actual gaming performance, that's locked in forever. The specs you bought are the specs you're stuck with until you throw the whole thing away or buy a new gaming laptop for another $2,000. So that expensive gaming laptop you bought isn't just worse than a desktop right now. It's also got an expiration date. In the next 3 years, maybe 4 if you're lucky, it's going to be struggling with the new games and you can't do anything about it except buy a whole new laptop. Meanwhile, someone with a desktop just swaps and upgrades their components and keeps going. And do you wanna know the best part? The manufacturers knows this, and they designed it this way on purpose. They don't want you upgrading your laptop, cause then you won't buy a new one every few years. Planned obsolescence is built into the product from day one, and you're paying premium price for it. Alright, so let's talk about money. A decent gaming laptop costs like 1,500 minimum if you want anything that won't immediately sound like a jet engine or perform like a potato. But here's the thing, you can build a desktop PC with the same specs or even better for like 12 to 1,400 bucks. You're literally paying more for the privilege of having worse performance, worse thermals, and no upgradability. And yeah, I'm talking about the high-end stuff. You want an RTX 4080 laptop? That's around 2 grand. Easy. Meanwhile, a desktop with an RTX 4080 costs way less and actually performs like a 4080 should. The manufacturer slap a gaming label on it and make it look edgy with some RGB lights and aggressive angles, and suddenly they can charge you way more for premium prices for hardware that's objectively worse than desktop components. It's a scam, but people keep falling for it because portability, let's go! Oh, you thought you were gonna get a nice mechanical keyboard experience? Nah, bro, you're stuck with these shallow, mushy laptop keys that feel like typing on soggy cardboard. And because everything is crammed so tight, there's barely any key travel. Gaming on these things feels terrible compared to even a cheap mechanical keyboard. Plus, the layout is always weird. When one key breaks, good luck replacing it without sending the whole laptop in for repairs.
Yeah. Holy
Sure, gaming laptops advertise high refresh rates now. 144Hz, 165Hz, sometimes even 240. But here's the thing they don't tell you. Most of these screens are either high refresh rates or high resolution, never both. Even then, good luck getting those consistent frame rates to actually use that high refresh rate when your GPU is thermal throttling every 10 minutes.
Boy, everyone is stupid except me.
And here's the really stupid part. Everyone who buys a gaming laptop ends up using it plugged into a wall, sitting at a desk with an external mouse, maybe an external keyboard, sometimes even an external monitor. You know what that is? Looks familiar, huh? That's just a fucking desktop with extra steps and more expensive. The portability you've paid for, you're not using it, because gaming on the go is a myth. The battery dies too fast, and the fans are too loud to use in public. The laptop gets too hot to actually put in your lap, and you look like a complete dork gaming in a coffee shop or library. So what are you actually doing? Well, sitting at home at a desk with your laptop functioning as the world's worst desktop PC.
Look, lady, whatever you're selling, I ain't buying, yo.
Well, my name is Skylar White, yo.
Try selling a 3-year-old gaming laptop. Good luck. Nobody wants your thermal throttling, battery-degraded, obsolete piece of tech that you'll be lucky to have like more than half of what you paid for it. Meanwhile, a desktop PC, you can sell the individual components. That GPU alone probably holds more value than a fucking laptop. And people actually want used desktop components because they can just slot them into their existing builds. Plus, everyone knows a gaming laptop degrades so fast. Well, potential buyers know that thing has been running at degrees its whole life. They know that the battery's probably shot. And they know that it's probably been thermal throttling since it was bought. And the amount of maintenance you have to do just to keep the laptop running in tip-top shape is just not worth it. And if you're still thinking about buying a gaming laptop after all this, I mean, I don't care, man. It's not my money. You do what you think is best with it. I'm not trying to convince you to do shit, do whatever the fuck you want, but do whatever the fuck you want. But I'm just saying, man, if you're all for just video games and well, just get a fucking gaming PC, man. Laptop is not that worth it. But I'll go ahead and say it before anyone in the comment does. The only main reason people would buy this thing is probably because they're in college and they still want to play games, but without moving an entire PC setup. Aside from that, I can't think of a better reason. Anyways, so yeah, that's it for this stupid dumbass video. Hit that like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all very, very soon. Bye.